Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for a live reaction and player ratings live stream of Chelsea 7, Norwich City 0. Oh my days, what a time to be alive, you know? I'm usually not the biggest fan of early kickoffs. I think I might have changed my mind. 7-0. We was just here yesterday. If you were one of the guys that watched the preview yesterday, myself and Ian mainly, we had this long-ass conversation about why aren't there never as big a scoreline as back in the day. You know, on Ancelotti, we won 7-0, 8-0, 6-0. What do we going to do? Win 7-0. Mugged us right off. And I've never been more happy to be mugged off. Also by Mateo Kovacic today. We'll get to him. All the praises coming his way. Do not worry, ladies and gentlemen. What a day to be alive. Honestly, what a day to be alive. Cobham Mania has well and truly taken over all of London, all of England, top of the league. Life is brilliant. Life is bloody brilliant. And to make life even better, I'm joined by my very good American friend, Mr. Clutch. First of all, as always, thank you for coming. By the way, guys, he was meant to be here, but then his cousin is now giving birth, and he's not sure when he's going to be back home yet. So maybe we'll see him on the stream, maybe not. I do not know. We'll find out. But Clutch, thank you for being here. How good was that? That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
That's probably one of the best ways to wake up to. I mean, it's 10:30 here. Woke up at 6:30 to watch the game. And all I have to say is just poor Norwich, man. I mean, like, champions of second league or the championship, and the best championship team to ever play, but one of the worst Premier League teams to ever play. And I don't know how that happens every year for them. But Chelsea just played outside their mind, especially when you consider that you don't have Lukaku and you don't have Timo. And the people that stepped up today, well, 95% of the players stepped up today. But it was really fun. I had a blast watching that.
Honestly, yeah, no, exactly. I had a big blast. Let's get this not negative from our terms, but kind of small down that the opposition will throw on us to like give us a reason why this is not as great as we think it is. Norwich were really bad. Like, let's get it out the way first. Norwich were really bad. Norwich were worse than Malmo was. And after watching that game on Wednesday, I didn't think that was going to be possible. But it was possible. Norwich were a lot worse than Malmo was. Sure, it didn't help that they didn't even had a man sent off later. But even when it was 11v11, they was just god bloody awful. I mean, Chilwell's goal, Mateo Kovacic had about 30 seconds without anyone near him before he received the ball. And then when he received the ball, still no one anyone near him to try and take it off him. So, like, they did make it easy. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that we've had plenty of easy games over the years, but very rarely do we score 7 goals. The finishing was there today. The intensity was there today. The enthusiasm was there today. The keeping going and wanting more goals and just a bigger win. That was just there today. And too many times, and to be honest, even the start of the second half was a little bit like that. We were 4-0 up at half time, and it seemed a bit slow, and it kind of, we needed this one kick to get going again. And today we did. And I could not be more happy about it. I could honestly not be more happy about it. Let's quickly get to the lineup that we started with. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you've tuned in, big up yourself. I appreciate you very much. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Smash that like button for me. It honestly doesn't cost you any money. It barely costs you any time. You're just going to keep listening to us anyway. So just click that button for me. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And if you don't understand what that means, please just click. It honestly means the world. And if you want to get involved, use the super chat function, help out the channel, and just be happy about that huge Chelsea dub. Do so as well. But Clutch, the lineup. There was only one thing which I thought was a bit harsh, but not like I criticized. But for once, the lineup, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And what do we do? Win 7-0.
Yeah, I do think the Ruben thing was a little harsh, but at the same time, in all hindsight, I mean, Cobham was one.
Hey,
yeah, in hindsight, it just shows you that, like, you can see this fan base on Twitter when it's like they come out and they're complaining about this or that. It's like Tuchel knows what he's doing. I mean, he won a Champions League. We need to trust him to make the right decisions when he does. And I mean, from start to finish, the guy was demanding intensity from the players, even for Norwich. I mean, we were up 6-0, and he was out there screaming for them. We were still pressing. You had Chalobah, who has been great all season. Kova, who has been on more of a downslope, but then came back out and threw out today. For me, I mean, it was like the perfect lineup. CHO was able to get his start, proved himself into the lineup, and now, I mean, it just goes to show you that we can rely on players and we can rely on Tuchel even when like other people aren't around.
No, so exactly that. Obviously, I mean, we do have to keep in mind that it was Norwich, but hey, I'd rather win 7-0 against Norwich than drop silly points. Like, we might have done it on other occasions. I'm not saying, today we were just so special and on another year we might have lost. That's not what I'm saying. But we've dropped points against lesser sides. We've dropped points against bad teams. Like, our bloody home record under Jose Mourinho was stopped by bloody Sunderland, which I'm not mistaken got relegated that very season. So, it happened. But instead we went out to win 7-0. And I could honestly not be more pleased. Like, it's just fantastic from top to bottom. I can't even remember all of the goals anymore. I can't even remember when they all happened. I need to get it up on my phone, but I will. And I've never done anything more happily in my life. Because it didn't take bloody long until for us to score the first goal now, did it? 8 minutes in, 1-0. And we also, nearly 8 minutes in on the stream, Super Chat, Fantasy PGA Tour, big up yourself for the £7 donations. Gonna start Super Chatting how many goals Chelsea scored in the game. Ole, Mason Mount. Come on. Hey, if we do that, I might need to make a call to Mr. Tuchel here, and we just start 17 strikers every game. Big fan. Appreciate you a lot, bro. Appreciate you a lot. But yeah, we scored with 17 different players. I think actually it was 18 by the end. I think Mason was the 17th. Callum was the 17th, but then didn't someone else new score? Maybe it's still 18. I don't remember. My doorbell just went. I have no idea why. Clutch, why don't you just take over for just half a second? I'll be right back. Just keep talking about the game for a second.
Okay. For me, especially like the lineup, it was really fun. Everybody knows that I've been very critical on Callum, even though today and I even texted Laurenz earlier when he was talking to me, and he proved me wrong today. He showed up, and I think if he can keep on these consistent performances and he shows that he has that ability that we know that he has potential, that we're going to end up getting something special out of Callum. And I'm glad that he is getting that confidence. He's getting that chance. He showed amazing movement today. I'm very happy with Tuchel. There's like nothing I can criticize other than maybe one moment or maybe 2 or 3 moments at the game when we lacked intensity and we started letting up and Norwich took over. The red card seemed to really hurt them a lot, as they usually does. Welcome back.
I'm back. Sorry, my bad. It was just some kids that hit their football over into the garden of this building. Don't know why they rang the doorbell, but hey, they rang the doorbell. Sorry, Clutch. I'm sure you were talking. Why don't you finish your point?
I was just saying that I was really happy with the entire team, and I was talking about how I was texting you that Callum proved me wrong today, and because I was very critical before the game as we were talking, and personally I couldn't be more happy with Callum today. I really couldn't.
No, exactly that, and I don't think you should even almost undervalue or make yourself sound harsher than you were. I don't think you were being like overly critical. I think you were just saying you want to see more of him before you go along with a lot of the people that, hype him up quite a lot. But there's nothing wrong with that. You weren't saying he's awful. You were saying, you want to see more from him before you make the opinion that he's amazing. And I think that's totally fair enough. I mean, he hasn't really played much in an offensive position. I'm not sure when you started watching Chelsea week in, week out. And even if you have at the time already under Sarri, that was a very different Callum Hudson-Odoi. It was a much younger Hudson-Odoi. It was a Hudson-Odoi pre-injury. And since the bad injury, we haven't seen him that much on the left side. So I think it's an understandable statement. But still, when you watch him, you can see that there is something there. You just need to see him do it regularly. And today he performed. But like Thomas Tuchel said, unlike certain journalists and certain news outlets try to twist it, one good game doesn't change the whole thing now. That one good game doesn't now mean he's above Lukaku or above Werner. He needs to do this a few more times, and he will get a few more times now because Werner is out, because Lukaku is out. So we'll get a few chances. If he does well in all of them, there's a good chance he keeps his place once Timo Werner is back fit. But just once that isn't enough. Every player has one good game every now and again. Ross Barkley has had the odd good game for us. Do you want him to start every week? No, you don't. So, hey, but everything is just like, honestly, I could not be happy. I was just as the doorbell went, I was just saying, took us only 8 minutes to score our first goal. And what a bloody goal it was. I mean, today was really the worst day of all time for Mason Mount haters, because they were always saying, he doesn't score enough goals, doesn't get enough assists, and he doesn't do enough of anything. Well, he scored a hat-trick and played an absolutely beautiful assist to Reece James. I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more. And the day has just gotten even better. Oh, my days. Today's a brilliant day. Con has joined us as well. Big up yourself, Con. I hope everything went well with your cousin. But thank you for joining us. And what a great day to be alive for a Chelsea fan, eh?
Hey, mate, we put 7 past Norwich. You love to see it. Mason Mount hat-trick, It's these sort of games you love. They don't come around too often. Them just stat pads. And it feels good, man. Good vibes.
Oh, brilliant. Honestly, I could not be happier. I was just talking about Mason's first goal. What hit that was. I mean, a fairly simple pass to him for Jorginho. But he took that and he's just smacked it inside of the post. And this is what I've been kind of craving for. And we did that quite a lot today. Like Ruben had a few shots. Barkley had a few shots when he came on. Mason took a couple. Ziyech, obviously, when he came on. Even Chile struck the ball a couple of times. Rudiger. Like, we were just happy to just try it and go for it. We weren't like just worried, what if it goes over? What if it goes wide? Who cares? Just go for it. One of them might go in. One of them might lead to a corner and you score from that. And it was just, I don't know, we felt a bit, it's like that Malmo game, even though the injuries happened, it's like it lifted a little bit of self-doubt of us. That's what today's game felt like. I know Norwich were bad. We covered that already. But it felt like a little bit of self-doubt of the team was just lifted off and we could just express ourselves a bit more than we have done in recent weeks. And I feel like the 4 goals against Malmo could have been the indicator. Hey, in hindsight, we'll only find out in a couple of weeks whether it was or not. If we go back to being a bit more dull in a few days' time or next week, maybe not. But today, that's what I'd say, that it might have been an indicator like that. I'll stick with you, Con, just, to basically say hello. Do you see where I'm coming from with that? Or do you think I'm just making things out of nothing now and I should just be happy about winning 7-0?
No. You're talking right there. And I think, like, Norwich were poor today. Don't get me wrong, they were. But how many times have they lost 7-0 this season? They haven't. It's the first time.
And they had a few clean sheets in a row recently as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we did well, like they were poor, but we had to take advantage of that. And, if this was like last season or the season before, right, we're looking at a game like this, we might win 1 or 2-0. We might get a third if we're lucky. But now we're winning 7-0 convincingly, and I don't know, today we just seem so positive. Like you said, like Mason Mount taking that shot. It's like the 1-2 like touch passing, just going forward. Like we were so clean today. It was such a clean performance. And after Malmo, I think some of the players' confidence was boosted, especially Mount's, because I don't think Mount was great against Malmo, but today was fantastic and he gets a hat-trick, So, we had quite a rough start to the season in terms of fixtures, and now we're getting easier ones. And look, Tuchel ball isn't as defensive as people say, These 7 defenders score, guys, So
yeah, exactly. And again, 2 goals from defenders today.
Exactly.
Nah, but hey, I couldn't agree more. It's just been absolutely perfect, really. There's not a single thing you can complain about today. Chile made 1 mistake, and that even allowed Mendy to have his moment with a wonderful save. Like, we're just absolutely gargantuan at the moment. It is absolutely brilliant. Let me just finish off the lineup on this screen here, so I can actually get that up, and we can discuss, the players as individuals. But let's quickly, keep talking through the game for just a second, because, like I said, 8 minutes in, 1-0. 18 minutes in, 2-0. Callum Hudson Odoi, what a ball from Mateo Kovacic. And lovely finish. Like, we've seen Callum do that a couple of times, but it also, do you guys remember when we won against Man United 1-0 under Jose? I think it was Jose. It might have been Conte, actually. And there was a through ball also from the middle. Probably Fabregas, but it might have been somebody else. And Hazard slotted it home just like Callum did today. I don't know. It reminded me of that. It was great to see. It was great to see. He got his chance, and that's what I've been saying. For weeks I've been saying, well, when he gets the chance, he needs to take it, like Ruben has, like Chalobah has, like when he initially came in, like Reece James did. Obviously, under Frank, it was a bit easier for any of the youngsters to come through. But regardless, today he did that. Today he took his chance, and anything going normal, he should be starting. Then, well, I don't know if he starts against Southampton, but he should probably start the next league game again. So that is what you want, really, isn't it? And we went from there. It was 2-0, and we went from there. To be fair, it took us a hot minute to get the 3rd goal. I'll ask you that before we get into individual ratings. What do you think was the best goal of the day, Clutch?
It's hard, right? I mean, between Reece James and Mason Mount's first one, because that he hit that so sweetly between the legs. I'm probably going to go with Mason Mount, the first one, because that was quite a strike. And, any game where we hit 23 shots and 13 of them are on target is just an insane. Like, you're doing something right at that point. I would probably go with Mason's.
Yeah. Con, what about you? Do you go along with that? Because I did like the Reece goal. The finish was lovely. The pass was lovely. I feel like the finish the finish, Mason's finish tops Reece's finish, but the build-up was a bit easier for Mason's goal, so that's why maybe I'm slightly leaning towards Reece's. But Con, how do you see it?
I think Mason's goal was great. It's a great strike, but I'm a sucker for those kind of finishes, from Reece today. I just love those little dinks. Like, I love them so much, and they're not easy to pull off. Like a lot of people just choose not to. So I don't know. I'm going for Reece's one there. He's a right wing back as well. Like his job is not to score. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of that. It was beautiful play beforehand, and yeah, Mason Mount's goal was great though. But
yeah, no, 100%. By the way, just quickly, JC25, good luck with that test in an hour. I'm sure you will crush it. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. But yeah, I mean, that was then 3-0. I actually thought it was 4-0 at halftime. Turns out it was 3-0 at halftime. Hey, I'll take it. Ben Chilwell, I mean, I'm not even trying to go on a Marcus Alonso agenda, but people was always saying, no, the one reason you'd have for starting Alonso over Chilwell is because he gives you an extra goal threat. Well, Ben Chilwell has kind of, buried that kind of idea so deep in the mud, we'll never find it again. Like, what goal's going around? That guy's on. And another, yeah, sure, he wasn't under any pressure, but I feel like there's not that many players that from that angle just smack it right into the bottom far corner. Like, that's a good finish. Like, the guy scored 3 goals for us, as many as Cristiano Ronaldo has in the Premier League, by the way, in more appearances, because Chile didn't start every game, mind you, because Alonso was the starting fullback, the wing back at the start of the season. But all 3 of his goals were brilliant. Like, the first one, sure, it made it look a bit less good because it needed goal line technology, but that volley is outrageous. Against Brentford, outrageous. And today, wonderful. Like, what a guy Ben Chilwell is, eh? Let me go with you first, Clutch, but I think we just need to praise Ben Chilwell for a second.
I mean, I think Ben Chilwell from last year should have been the starting left wing back, no matter what. I mean, we know the kind of quality that Alonso brings offensively, but when you can get as good quality and defensive stability too, I mean, Ben Chilwell is just, Lampard was on point when he picked him. And if you remember, like, the people saying, oh, he's too expensive. I mean, he's making up for it, is he not?
He is. Con, anything you want to add to Ben Chilwell? I feel like I still haven't seen your face properly, but I still feel like you and Ben Chilwell have some similarities. Do you agree with this?
Maybe. A lot of people like how Ben looks, so I don't mind that at all.
Exactly.
I like him. I do like him. Like, at first, I was skeptical because of the price. I thought there's better options there, but he's like a proper Chelsea sort of player. I hate that term, proper Chelsea. I use it really. I'll say the word unironically now, but I just love him. He loves the club. He's a Chelsea fan. You love that, you want your players to be Chelsea fans, He's great with everyone at the club, and his performances now are really good, He's starting to score goals. He's looking threatening. Man's playing as some inverted wing back who plays up top, who
at some point he was playing like a number 10 right behind.
Bro, he's everywhere, and I'm really enjoying him, bro, because he's like Marcus Alonso now with the finishing, who I think he could be a better finisher than Alonso, because like you said, all of them goals are class, and he's got pace and he's got a brain. When Alonso came on against Malmo the other day, bro, he got nutmegged in the first minute, Alonso, when he came on against Malmo, man. I can't be asked. So, no, Ben Chilwell, I'm really happy for him. And obviously, a lot of us were questioning Tuchel, saying, like, why is Alonso starting instead of Chilwell? We know Alonso was in good form, but we know Chilwell gives us more. And I think we're starting to see that now, Tuchel gave him time to get his mind right after that Southgate picking Fatboy Shaw over him. So, no, it's great. He's a great player. And I don't think he gets enough credit he deserves, honestly. I think he's a really top player.
I agree. He absolutely is a top player. And I will get on this before we get into just the individual ratings. Just quickly, people that do follow me on Twitter might have seen that I said, it was a bit harsh on Ruben Loftus-Cheek not starting. And I said yesterday I wanted to see Ruben and Jorginho start again. And I still would have liked that, especially with how the game went. I think it would have been a good day to try that out and see if it works, how it works. I didn't necessarily mean this as Kovacic's criticism. I did think Ruben has done better in the last few games than Kovacic. But today, Kovacic was absolutely world-class in every sense of the word. 2 assists, sure, they weren't both the most outrageous assists, but that doesn't matter. It's an assist regardless. And he was brilliant. His dribbling was great. His tackling was great. His positioning was great. His intensity was great. Fair play to him. Fair play, Mateo Kovacic. It's just trying to make sure that people understand I'm not hating on Kovacic just when I say he wasn't great for a couple of games. I can't just be objective and have the opinion that he wasn't great. It doesn't mean I now hate someone. But hey, let's get to the player ratings. Let's move on because we will probably be sat here for a minute anyway. So if we don't start at some point, we're going to be until bloody tomorrow. So I have at least got the lineup up on screen already. So that's something. Come on, boys, pick me up. You know what? I put it to you, Clutch, because you've basically turned into the co-host at this point. Shall we start at the top or shall we start at the back?
The back, considering I think the front's going to be the higher ratings.
There you go. That makes sense. Let's start with Edouard Mendy today then. Let me go with you first, Con. One big save funnily enough, after we just picked him up, actually quite a bad Chile mistake. But I don't know, I've never seen a goal to do that. He basically came out of his goal, then the guy took it around him, and Mendy just turned around and was just quicker than the attacker and slide tackled it and celebrated it as if it was Bonucci and Chiellini. I was a big fan of it. So didn't really have anything else to do. Collected the crosses that he had to collect and made that one save. So big him up. The problem that we have for goalkeepers, obviously, okay, you had one save to make, you made it. But does that get you a 10? I don't know. So go first, Con, but you can't really complain with him, can you?
Of course not, bro. Today, bro, Chilwell probably did that on purpose. I swear, like Mendy was, everybody was having a good performance out there. Chilwell looked at Mendy as like, this guy is world class. He needs to show it this game, even though we're smoking this team. He passed it back. Mendy, like you said, it was weird. I thought Mendy's gone round it, and he just recovers so well. That was brilliant recovery. It's like 6'6", it has advantages, doesn't it? So, yeah, it's hard to rate because it's like I'd love to give him a 10. But then other players won't get a 10 today who did more in the game, So it's one of those. I think an 8's fair. He made the one big moment save, and distribution was good, collected crosses, and yeah, that's what I'd do. Give an 8.
I would fully back that. I would have been the same thing. I would have gone for as well. Clutch, what about yourself?
To be different, I'm going to go 7.5. He did have that big moment, but I don't think he doesn't deserve an 8. Don't get me wrong. That one moment.
It's always democracy anyway. If you go 7.5 and myself and Con got 8, it's going to be 8 anyway. So it's absolutely fine, bro. But go on.
But yeah, I would go probably, my initial thought was maybe 7, but considering his legs are probably 7 feet long alone. So let's give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I think against Malmo we gave him a 7, and I don't think he had a single proper save to make. So I feel like if we gave him a 7 there, we would have to give him an 8 now. But maybe we didn't even give him a 7. I can't really remember. Let's finish off the centre backs. I want to get to let's start with Rudiger. Just a quick question. I'm sure you've both seen it. What Di Marzio has said, that apparently he's going to join one of the 4 clubs of Juve, PSG, and 2 others. I forgot. What do we do about this situation if this is true? I'm not going to start slagging off Rudiger because I don't know if it's true. But what do we do if it is true? Do we just keep playing him and pretending like he's going to stay? Or does someone that's going to do that, does he just need to sit on the bench? Let me go with you first, Con. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. No criticism for him today, obviously. But I just... this. I'm still kind of holding Hudson Odoi, that whole transfer request against him. So people know I'm very emotional when it comes to players trying to leave. So I'm like, what do I do about this?
I'd play him, If I'm Tuchel, I'd play him because Tuchel likes the player. It's not his fault if the player don't stay, Rudiger wants the money. Chelsea don't want to pay. It's as simple as that, And Rudiger deserves to be one of the highest paid owners at this club. I don't think around 200k is too much for him, considering players like Odoi's on 125k. I think Puli's on 150-ish. I think Kepa's on 180. So if you're Rudiger and you're playing as well as you are, probably arguably top 3 defenders in the world right now, you want that money. And if Chelsea refuse to pay it, then, that's not Tuchel's fault. That's not Rudiger's fault. Rudiger is in his right to ask for that money. Tuchel wants him to stay, clearly. He loves Rudiger. He plays in nearly every game. That left centre-back, when we're playing Tuchel roulette for lineups, it's the one consistent we always have. If Rudiger's fit, he's playing at left centre-back, So, yeah, I'd carry on playing him. It's not like he don't want to be here. He just wants more money, man. So I beg Marina or whoever's in charge of it, just give him the money, man. He's deserved it. He really does.
I could not agree more. Obviously, I read yesterday or the other day that he wants to be on a level with like Lukaku. And obviously, Lukaku is on quite a bit more than 200k. So then obviously we're talking different numbers. I completely agree. 200k, just give it to him. If he wants the same as Lukaku, I'm like, well, you're not a striker. So strikers just tend to get paid more, mate, especially after you just signed him for 100 million. Like, so, maybe that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. But I agree. Like, I want to keep him. I was also, the fact that we didn't get Koundé made me very, very confident that the club were confident that Rudiger was going to stay. So the fact that we didn't go more all out for Koundé, I never even doubted the whole Rudiger thing. And I will say this, just as a quick heads up, Di Matteo has not the greatest track record when it comes to information outside of Italy. Like, he was great on the whole Lukaku stuff, but that was in Italy. Rudiger is not in Italy. He doesn't have the best track record on that. So just because Di Matteo says this is not as much as it was gospel when we're talking about the Lukaku transfer in the summer. But hey, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Clutch, anything you want to add?
Sorry, just before you ask Clutch, can I just quickly ask you a quick question?
Of course.
If an offer came in for Rudiger in January and we knew he was leaving in the summer, would you take it?
Well, that depends on, does by then Tuchel still play him? If he is still playing him every game, then no, don't sell him. If Tuchel has by that point put him on the bench anyway, then yes, do sell him, if that makes sense.
Fairs, bro. Fairs.
But no, if we are in a position and he's still our starter and we're in a position to fight for the league, potentially a Champions League, then no, we don't risk a trophy because, he might leave. Do you know what I mean? But at AMZ, the question was if we get an offer in January. Obviously, in the summer, he would be free, but not in January. But Clutch, anything you want to add on that on Rudiger, and otherwise just, get to his performance, I suppose?
No, I mean, he's our best defender right now and has been for a couple months. So if he wants 200k, give him 200k. I mean, he was one of the biggest reasons why we let in, one goal last?
Okay, but what if he wants 300k? Do you say give him 300k, or does that change things? I don't know if he does. I'm just putting it out there, asking.
See, that's the thing. It's like, that is a lot of money. And how old is he? 28? 26?
I think, yeah.
28? That's a lot of money for a 28-year-old. That's when you're starting to get into, like, the problems that Barcelona has. When they're paying 29, 30-year-olds 400k or 300k a week. And then all of a sudden now you got to say, hey, Messi, you're the best player ever, but we can't sign you because we have Busquets on a gigantic contract. So, I mean, I think there is a level of smart that you have to go with it as well. But, I mean, if it's 200k, give it to him. Anything above, like, 250, maybe there's a conversation to be had. But as far as that, I mean, he did really well today. I mean, he played more offensively than he had to play defensively. Every time he got the ball anywhere beyond the half, you could hear the crowd telling him to shoot. So, yeah. I mean...
And to be fair, he kept most of them down for once today, so big up.
That first shot he took, I thought was going in. Yeah. I do... It is a little unfair he didn't get to take the penalty, but at the same time, your penalty takers are your penalty takers. I would probably give him an 8 or an 8.5 today.
Yeah. Give him that 8.5. I would probably go along with that. Con, what about you?
Yeah, 8.5 solid. He won the penalty. He was great defense, obviously. Didn't offer much. Yeah, 8.5. I'm happy.
To be honest, guys, I just say it straight out. First of all, we've already been going half an hour, and there's not really that much to say for Thiago Silva and Chalobah. If you have anything to add, please do. But I would just both give them an 8 alongside Mendy. But Rudiger, because he won that penalty, gets the extra 0.5. I couldn't really remember anything super outrageously positive going forward, and they were all just solid defensively, but obviously not really exactly threatened by Norwich. So I would just give them both an 8. Would you be okay with that? Or do you think it's too high? Con?
No, I'm perfectly happy with that. I just want to say I'm in love with Chalobah, man. Solid player. So I really love him. Yeah, he's
so good. Like, think about. I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't want to sit here and bring it back to Rudiger actually. And I'm not trying to slack Frank Lampard off now. But the only reason we're in this position is Frank Lampard. Because when do we usually extend contracts? When they have 2 years left. But when Rudiger had 2 years left of his contract, he was 5th choice centre-back and wanted to leave. So he never signed a new contract. And now here we are. So if Lampard never made a 5th choice centre-back, he probably would have signed a new contract and we wouldn't have this problem. So that's a bit annoying. And who did he? Was he 5th centre-back for Tomori and Zuma, who have both left now? Brilliant. So, not exactly ideal. I can't lie. Not exactly ideal. But Clutch, would you go along with the 8 for Thiago and Chalobah?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, we 7-0.
Fair enough. How does Mendy get the same as the defenders? Yeah, but I don't really know, to be honest, because did they do so much more than him? Did they do so? Sure, they had the ball more than him in terms of passing it around, but did they have any goal-saving moments like Mendy did with that one time? I don't know. Just give it. It doesn't really matter, guys. Come on, it doesn't really matter. They're all getting an 8. Let's not dwell about it. We played Norwich. We won 7-0. Let's not focus on the defenders too much, shall we? But yeah, put it in the chat if you strongly disagree with our 8.5, 8 and whatever. Please do. But I think it makes reasonable sense. Why don't we get to Ben Chilwell? We spoke about him already. One mistake that, allowed Mendy to look good. So, can't complain. Scored a goal. Brilliant otherwise. For me, he's getting... You know what, Clutch? I'll let you go first. I'm not sure yet.
Interesting. I have him down as an 8. He played really well going forward. He was making all the runs. And on multiple occasions,
Sorry, can I interrupt you? You said you have him down as an 8. What did you have the 3 centre backs down before we said anything?
7 for Rudy and for Silva and Chalobah. But just because you didn't see very much of them, it wasn't that not they did anything wrong.
That is totally fair as well. No, I just wanted because we now gave those an 8, you kind of have to almost reconsider the individual rate for Chile.
8.5. Because, there was a couple times when a ball came in and Chile was the one who headed the ball away. It wasn't one of the center backs, though.
Yeah. See, because that was exactly it. And I see it in the chat as well. A lot of people going 8.5, 9, 8.5, 8.5/9. That was exactly what I was stuck. I wasn't sure between 8.5 or 9 because he did make the one mistake, but obviously he did score. And overall, I think it was just great. So I wasn't sure, do I give him the same as Rudiger or do I give him one higher? So, you kind of didn't help me, Clutch, but let's see what Con says and then we'll find a democratic solution. Con, 8.5, 9, would you go lower?
Yeah, I'd go over 9 today because I think he had a perfect performance bar that mistake. Mm-hmm. So I would give him a 10 because he scored, he was everywhere, he was fantastic. But that mistake was a big mistake, so I'll take off a 1. I think a 9's fair.
To be honest, I agree. Why not? Hey, on a day where we win 7-0, let's not dwell down on negativity and, should we do 0.5 less? No, let's just give them the 9. Why don't we? Yeah, we spoke about Chile already, so there's not too much more to add. Let's get to the other side. Reece James. Finally, the guy got to start again. I was a bit annoyed. Well, not annoyed, it's the wrong word. But I wasn't too pleased when he didn't start against Malmo. I didn't really understand why he didn't start against Malmo. But he did today, and he was brilliant. I will say, though, not quite as brilliant as I personally thought Ben Chilwell was. Just because Reece... See, when he scored that goal, I'm like, that intensity in moving forward, if he showed that more, he'd be the best fullback in the world. But he doesn't quite show it enough. He still has a little bit of hesitation in him. I don't know why. And by the way, I'd probably give him an 8.5 here. I'm not saying he's a 6, right? I'm just saying, just a teeny tiny tad that I thought Chile was better. But what a finish. What a chip. What a finish. Brilliant. Absolutely beautiful. And the link up him and Mason have, it's just great to see. I'm just a big fan. There was also a moment early in the game, Norwich played an over the top ball, and he didn't even have to touch the ball. He was 5 yards behind the guy when they started running. He caught up to him, stood in front of him, just like, all right, basically turned into Hodor from Game of Thrones and was like, you're not going anywhere, or Gandalf, if you want, you shall not pass. But yeah, I'd go with Reece. I'd give him an 8.5. But Con, do you agree with that? It was maybe a teeny tiny bit worse than Chile, or would you disagree?
Yeah, I think Chilwell was the better of the two today. But Chilwell made a big mistake and Reece didn't. So I think I'd go with 9 with Reece again today. A great finish. Beautiful finish, actually. I love that. I wish more players in them positions go with finishes like that instead of trying to place it or something. So I'd go with a 9 for Reece today. I thought it was fantastic.
You have again changed my mind. Fair enough. Clutch, what about you?
I was stuck in between 8.5 and 9. There was a couple times in the first 10 minutes that Reece got beat, but his pace was allowed him to get back and stop it. We won 7-0. 9. I'm going 9.
Fair dues. Hey, we're doing high ratings today, apart from maybe one man, but it won't be too bad either. Let's get to the midfield too, who were both absolutely outstanding today. Jorginho got an assist. Kovacic got 2 assists. We rarely have we dominated a game as much as we did today. You know what? I didn't actually check yet today. what the possession was? 62. Play predictor said 63. Got it. But still very pleased. Who shall we go first? Why don't I let you choose, Clutch? Do we go Jorginho first or Kovacic first?
I'm gonna go Jorginho first.
Okay, hit us. What are your thoughts? What is your rating?
Jorginho, once again. The thing is, I love the Jorginho that we've seen the last 2 games. The Jorginho that's putting the balls over the top. It's not that side passing that he's good at it, but don't get me wrong. But I think he's got a good pass over the top in him, and I've seen a lot of that today. He was controlling the midfield. What was his stats? Hold on. He had the most touches for anybody at 68, most passes in the final third,
In the
most
final
possession
third as
won.
well.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Most tackles, most fouls won, and most interceptions for us today. So, I mean, I'd give him a 9, only because I'm going to give Kovacic a little bit better of a rating, but I think that Jorginho is probably my second or third favorite player.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that because I 100% see what you're saying. And just for people that might misunderstand Clutch, he's not saying don't sideways pass. Clutch understands that sideways passes are an important part of football. He just wants Jorginho to add these extra passes too. And for example, in these last 2 games, he's been doing it and it's been fantastic to see. I might tend to give them both the same rating, but I definitely understand what you're saying. Jorginho, 9.5, lower. I doubt you're going to go 10. That's probably safe for the hat-trick man today. But
I know Mount got the hat-trick today, but I think these 2 were really the heart of the team today. I think these 2 were fantastic. I'm really tempted to give them both 10s. I know I'm biased. Jorginho, just give him the Ballon d'Or already. Like, look, Malmo, Norwich, it's easy for him. It's too easy, man. But like these 2 today were absolutely fantastic. And I know we have to give Mount the best rating. He got a hat-trick. So 9.5 for both. I think that first half, they was incredible, man. They was really incredible. They made these 2 alone made Norwich go to a back 3 because they absolutely bossed the midfield. And even when they went to a back 3, they still bossed it. I just love them. 9.5 for both.
Yeah, see, I'm inclined to agree, although maybe the entire chat seems to agree, or not the entire chat. A lot of people seem to think that maybe 0.5 higher for cover. I feel like if we give cover a 10, we need that's us appreciating an overall thing, and then we also need to give Jorginho a 10. So if we give cover a 10, Jorginho also needs a 10. Otherwise, we stick them both a bit lower and only give Mount a 10. That's kind of my logic here. I don't really mind if we give a 9.5 or 9 for Jorginho. Let's stick with Jorginho. Chat, put in the chat what you would give Jorginho. We'll get to cover after that. Let's just do Jorginho. Because, like I said, well, you can do both as well if you want. I mean, some of the people have already stated it, but if you haven't already, please put it in the chat quickly what you'd rate both of them. I'll give you guys a second, obviously, for the delay, so I can actually see what you boys are saying. 9, give Mason 11. Well, we could do, but Adar's saying 9. Okay, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Well, most people are saying 9. I can't lie. So maybe we'll have to do that. But sorry, boys, I disagree. I think if we give Chile and Reece a 9, we have to give Jorginho 9.5. We can debate Kovacic separately and whether he deserves a 10. But I think Jorginho deserves it, even though he didn't score. He was still more, in a way, crucial. Even if that might sound silly to some other people. So I'll side with Con. Cover. You know what? I'll go back to you, Con. I know you obviously just explained that you would just give them both a 9.5, but obviously just explain why you were so pleased with Kovacic today, because obviously I spoke about it a minute ago already, but I don't think I actually let you two speak about it.
Yeah, Kovacic is just an unreal player. He's the most underrated player in the Premier League.
I saw you tweet that earlier as well.
Yeah. He's the most underrated player in the Premier League by a country mile. He is unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And people say he's adding assists to his game. He's always had this to his game. Them forward passes and drilling it into people. He's always had that. It's just never been finished, you know. I remember a certain Ajax game when him and Jorginho bossed it. He put Tammy through like twice. Tammy missed both chances. So he's always had it in his locker, but he's doing it more often and more consistently now. And he could have had 4 assists today. Really good, got a pen. And Barkley, bit of a bad miss, but we take those. He's
bad miss? Do you mean the one that Krul saved?
Yeah, he should be scoring that. Like, it's a great save, don't get me wrong, but you have to score those, you know?
Yeah,
so, bro, you've watched Timo for too long.
Bro,
you've watched Timo for too long, bro. Like, trust me, players score those chances. But Kovacic, honestly, he's a special player. He's unreal. I love him so much, him and Jorginho. But I wouldn't give him higher than Jorginho because it's like we always say on this, isn't it? When we do this, like these two as a package, and when they both play well,
Yeah, you almost have to rate them together. Yeah, I agree.
And I just think I think we have to give the hat-trick hero a 10. And as much as I want to give both of these a 10, I think a hat-trick's a special thing, it doesn't happen often, So 9.5 for Cover as well. Even though if people want to give him a 9.6, just because, he got an extra assist, I don't mind that. As long as these two are getting appreciated, I'm happy.
Fair dues. I see what you're saying there. I think now just to explain what Con was going on about there. So Cover over the last 3 seasons had a combined of 6 assists. Already has 5 assists this season, 2 of them coming obviously today. I will say though, what was his second assist? I can't remember it. Obviously the first one was for Chile, but what was the other one?
Was Lukaku?
CHO and Chile.
Oh, CHO. Oh, that was outrageous to be fair. Okay. Clutch. And I mean, Con, you kind of already agreed. Someone in a chat, give him a 9.75 then. Shall we give him a 9.75? Shall we almost become a little bit silly? Or shall we just stick to both of a 9.5? Help me out, Clutch.
Con talked me into like how they were both pretty much. I mean, they're a package deal. They complement each other so well. Kova had a 94% pass rating with like 6 key passes today or something like that.
Something like that for sure.
9.5. Because if Con talked me into it. If you give Kovacic anything higher, you have to also do Jorginho.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I wasn't really debating a 9 for Kova. I was more, does he deserve higher than Jorginho, or do I give him the same? Because I'm kind of stuck between the two. But I think what Con said and someone in the chat agreed there, they just come as a package. And when they play together, they're just like the Kovacic couldn't do the things he does without Jorginho, and Jorginho couldn't do the things he does without Kovacic. So that's why they kind of come hand in hand to some extent. I think we're all happily agree on that. Why don't we go with Mason, the man of the day, with obviously the hat-trick and the lovely assist as well. Let's go to him last. Let's get to Hudson Odoi. Obviously, myself and Clutch were talking about it at the start before you joined, Con. But what did you make of Callum today? His performance overall, and obviously in general, just obviously the situation with, Matt Law and Isaac Kinsella trying to clickbait the whole world with some dodgy headlines. I can't lie. Like, I rate them both, especially Nazar. I like him a lot. But I found that very questionable, these headlines. I can't lie. And also, like, how the game started. Like, so many journalists, including Simon Johnson, and, people know, I like Simon. He's been here on this channel for an interview. But everyone's talking about, Tuchel already giving, Hudson Odoi a bollocking. And I'm like, well, no. He gives everyone a bollocking. Don't make it out like this weird agenda that Tuchel dislikes Hudson Odoi. Like, people are too... what's the word? Influenceable. It's not the word, but I made a word up. Influenceable. They will believe this now. Like, people don't use their own brains. They read this from a journalist, and they will now believe that Thomas Tuchel dislikes Hudson Odoi. And it's just not true. I just don't think journalists, especially working for outlets like The Telegraph and the Go.com, should be putting toxicity out there like that. So I'm very happy that Hudson Odoi got his goal. He didn't get a fully second goal. I'm still not quite sure how Max Aarons got the own goal for that and not Tim Krul for the last one, but fair enough. But Con, what about Callum Hudson-Odoi? And if you want to say anything about the headlines and stuff, obviously, please do.
Yeah, just touch on them headlines. Yeah, they're stupid. We could have sold Chona some more. He could have gone on loan. Tuchel wants him in the squad. That's proof enough he doesn't dislike him, You're right, Lawrence. People are too influenced by stuff, And I think we all remember that clip where Tuchel was like to Werner, like, Timo, what you doing? You've been playing on the right this whole time. I think it's a right or left. It's like, you're playing on the... he was playing on the right the game. And it's like, Timo, you've been playing on the left for the last 20 minutes. Like, sorry, my dog's going crazy.
Oh, good.
But... yeah, so people just read into it. Like, Tuchel likes him, but you got to understand, Cho's a young player, and he's not going to have that discipline or something like, I don't know, his brain ain't quite there yet, and Tuchel's trying to drill that into him. So I think this tough love is just trying to grow him up a bit. That's how I see it. Like, when people like tough love on younger players, you're just trying to make them grow up a bit, You want them to be accountable for what they're doing wrong and what they do right. You want to give them praise for that as well. So you got to treat him like an adult, not like a kid. You don't want to be baby and Hudson Odoi, I think he's had that for too long at Chelsea. And this is good to see a manager calling him out in front of people. It's good. And look, it's clearly working because Hudson Odoi today was fantastic. He took his chance with both hands. Good goal, good finish. Really like that. And yeah, the second goal, don't know how it got on Max Aarons. I really like Max Aarons. That kind of sucks.
I didn't even see it touch Max Aarons, but I must have just not seen
Yeah,
it.
it must have just.
It bounced off his face.
Yeah, but
I must have not used my eyes.
But for me, yeah, Hudson Odoi 9.5. I think is fantastic today.
9.5. Okay, I probably would have gone 9, but hey, I'm happy to go as high as 9.5. Although I do think that Clutch will probably not go 9.5. But we'll see. We'll see. Just one last thing I want to add because yeah, the 250 game thing that kind of Nizar made this big thing. Obviously, Tuchel was over exaggerating. Like, don't take every word for word. Like, I know he's German, and Germans often do take word for word, but not in this case. He was obviously saying, basically what he was saying. Yes, this can be a turning point, but we won't know it's a turning point if he plays well. We maybe know in 2 years' time that this game was the turning point, but we can't know that now. Even whether he plays well or plays incredibly well or plays well, if he plays badly, it can't be a turning point. But just one game playing well doesn't matter because if he doesn't play well for the next 15 times he plays, then this good performance was pointless. So Tuchel didn't say anything outrageous there, and I don't understand the headlines. But yeah, I probably would have gone 9 just because I think I could have seen a little bit more of him during part of the game. But I was still, obviously, the finish was lovely, getting involved, being strong, being quick, pressing. I was very happy with him. But Clutch, would you go 9? Would you go 9.5? Would you go lower? I presume you're not going to go higher.
I'm going to go with a 9. But I will say, I mean, that first 5 minutes, it was tweeted by somebody, I don't remember, but they were talking about how Tuchel was screaming at CHO because he was not moving off the ball. 2 minutes after that is when the goal came.
And also, 5 minutes before that, he nearly got on the end of a lovely Jorginho ball with a great run.
Yeah.
So you can't even say that his off-the-ball movement was awful until then. He might have had one moment where it could have been better. But again, the journalists made it sound like he's awful and Tuchel screaming at him all game long. That just wasn't the case.
Yeah, and I think you can tell his off-the-ball movement was really, really sharp today. So, I mean, I'd give him a 9. It's just for CHO, I feel like whenever you see him, you want more. And I don't blame him for that. It's just maybe that's the feeling I get around the way people hype him up to be this next big thing. And it's I
maybe
want
it's also
more.
The talent that you do see that you want him. It's like with me and Havertz. I want to see more from Havertz because I think that's how good he is.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, I mean, yeah, he took his chance really well today. I'd go with a 9.
I think I'd agree. Ladies and gentlemen, put it in the chat so you can help us decide. Lance said 9 is fair. JC said 9.5. So, you're all very unhelpful so far. So please put it in the chat what you would give Callum Hudson-Odoi. And then we can move on to Mr. Kai Havertz before we finish it off with Mason Mount. Then obviously get to the subs. Fantasy BJ Door saying Havertz definitely has higher gears he can go up to. Oh, he bloody has to. That's for damn sure. I'm not saying he was awful today, but he needs to. Adash saying 9. All right, go on, boys. 9.5. For me, but okay with the 9. I'll give a couple more of you guys a chance to have your say, just to see what we go with. 9, 9.5, 9. I think the 9 just about wins. Sorry, Con, but I don't think we're being super harsh if we give someone a 9 or a 9.5. Let's get to Kai Havertz. If there was a small problem man today, it's probably him. Not that he was god bloody awful, not by any means. But you know how everybody else's finishing was pretty, well, maybe not at all times, but at least everyone else had one great finish in there. Havertz didn't just quite have that. He had one moment where he could have just gone for it with his left foot. And he went onto the right, tried to do a step over and just couldn't get ahead of the defender to get a decent shot away. And he got blocked and hit into the side net. I'm like, this is where he's lacking a bit of confidence, maybe a bit of trust in himself to go for things that he might go for when he's oozing with confidence. I don't know. He's definitely for me the lowest rated player today, but not bad. I'd probably give him a 7. He was still involved in everything. He pressed well, he attacked well. That was one of those frustrating moment in the second half just before he got subbed off, where the ball kind of bounced off a Norwich defender, and if he was just concentrated and sharp in that moment, he's 1-on-1 with the keeper and has an easy chance. But the ball kind of just flew past him and he didn't know it was happening. And maybe I'm harsh. Maybe he was too quick to react. Maybe. But he seemed like he just pressed, and he just kind of almost took a second to relax and catch his breath again. I wasn't quite ready for possibly going past him. So I'd go 7. Clutch, why don't I go with you? What did you make of Kai today?
I was in the range of like 6.5 or 7. Because, I mean, the only bright spot that Norwich had, and it's not even a bright spot, was how they defended Havertz, which is, I forget the captain's name, but he was all over Havertz. He was bullying him pretty much. And I don't really blame Havertz for that, considering, I mean, this is one of his first goes at being up there and leading the line. So, I mean, it was a learning experience. So, I mean, for a 7-0 day, I'd say let's give him a 7.
Yeah, I'd probably go along with it. I mean, Ritz Ball said he didn't do anything particularly special to deserve a 7. I see what you're saying with that, but I feel like people might come at my throat for this, especially Pice might come at my throat to this if he ever sees this. But Kai did today what Lukaku doesn't do, which allows the players around him to do more. That's what Kai did today. And that's why I said a few times that right now, until we click with Lukaku, I think we're better with Kai. Even if Kai doesn't score or assist, I think it still worked better because of Kai. Hence why I want to give him a 7, even though he didn't have like the on-ball situations maybe to warrant a 7, if that makes sense. Con, would you go along with that? Would you see where I'm coming from with that?
You're spot on with that, Lawrence. Last game against Malmo, when he came on, Kai was playing, my mate turned around to me and was like, just notice how much better our attack looks when Kai's in it. And I was like, yeah, because you're right. Our attack looks better with Kai in it over Lukaku at the moment because we haven't quite clicked with Lukaku and Kai moves. He drops. He runs the channels, like he presses as well. Our press is so much better when Kai's on the pitch compared to Lukaku as well. So you're right with what you said there. I totally agree with that. And I'd give him a 7 as well because even though him himself didn't have the best game, he does allow everybody around him to play better, you know? So Chilwell isn't taking up the spots he takes up essentially, especially if Lukaku's playing because there's no space for him. But when Kai's playing, he has that space because Kai will move. He'll make runs in behind. He'll move. So you know what? If Kai can start scoring goals, he's going to be an absolutely unreal player.
And to be fair, he scored in the last game, so
yeah, he's got everything in his game, and if he can just start getting assists and goals, he's going to be a monster. He really is.
He really, really is. He really, really is. Let's get to the man of the day. You know, I said it earlier already. You know, a bad day for Mason Mount haters because they say he doesn't score enough. They say he doesn't create enough. They say he doesn't do this. They say he doesn't do that. Well, he got a hat-trick and a lovely assist. Sure, slightly aided by, obviously, VAR being very, I don't know what the right word is, but like, you know, almost like Tim Krul, obviously with the howler that came off Max Aarons, but still he should have saved it. And obviously he saves the pen. He makes, in my opinion, a great save with Barkley. There was another couple of good saves that he made. One of Ruben, which I thought was a good save. Almost in a weird way, I feel a little bit sad for him that penalty to be retaken. But on the other hand, I obviously feel way more happy for Mason but I will say, Mason, it has now been confirmed that Mason, for the time being, should not be our first choice penalty taker because even the second penalty wasn't any good. That's just somehow squeezed in off Krul's leg. But overall, the performance, this first shot was fantastic. The last goal, to have the energy to make that run so late on in the game, brilliant. Obviously, the same goes for Ruben, but obviously Mason did it off the ball for the most part. And obviously to be there and tap at home, the assist was amazing. So I know we've given out 11s to, or 100. We gave Mendy 100 after the Brentford game, but you know, when we stay to somewhat reasonable, like Con said, a 10 is special. We don't hand out 10 every day of the week, and I mean we're all in agreement. But obviously I'll let you guys speak about it as well. But he was fantastic today. It was absolutely fantastic, and I love to see it. And I said many times that I think he is better from the left side. But if he can get his right foot into shooting areas when he comes a little bit inside to still get those shots off, then, you know, he can also, you know, become a real star out on that right-hand side if we have Timo on the left, or Pulisic on the left, or Hudson on the left, whoever it shall be, right? He can certainly do that. And today was brilliant. Today was absolutely brilliant. Let me go with you, Con. I mean, we obviously all love Mason, but today was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember like tweeting out a few days ago, or I think it was yesterday, that like what's been up with Mace this season, he hasn't quite looked on it. And you know, today he turns up and he's like, you know what, Con, up yours, you know, who's not on it. And one thing I really liked about Mace today, he was so direct, you know. We need more players having shots from outside the box at times, you know. And Mace is good at doing that. He's got a great shot on him. Sometimes in the box his finishing ain't quite there, but outside the box his finish is beautiful, you know. And the penalty, he got a bit lucky with that. Krul did jump off his line, though. It was clear. So, yeah, modern rules is a retake. The last goal, Loftus-Cheek did well, maybe held on to it a bit long, but he was there. And, you know, I think Mount's biggest criticism, right, is the goal contributions in it, assists and goals. And today he got 4. So even if you hate Mount,
scored. Sorry to interrupt you, by the way, just as an extra stat for people. Under Thomas Tuchel, since he took over in January, Mason Mount has now scored 2 more goals than any other player in that time period. He's got 8 now, and both Jorginho and Havertz have 6. Still doesn't sound great. We still need to, get those numbers up because that's not great. But we got to start with 3 goals from Mason today. Go on.
Yeah, and I think so that was his biggest criticism. He doesn't get enough assists and goals, and if he can start adding that to his game, Jesus Christ, he's got everything, hasn't he? Because he can press, he can do all the dirty work, and then he'll have that to his game as well. So 10 easily today. Even the biggest Sarri sexual who hates Mason Mount, you have to give him a 10 today. Fantastic. And 22 years old, getting the Premier League hat-trick, you love to see those. You really do.
Exactly. You really do love to see that. And Fantasy PGA Tour actually made a fair point. It's not easy to score past Krul from the spot either. Krul is a master of penalties. I mean, yes, there is a reason why Louis van Gaal brought him on in the World Cup quarterfinal, or was it semi-final? Whatever it was, for a penalty shootout. So fair play. Maybe it is just also that. Just lastly, because yes, the rules are, if it comes off the line, I just think it's a stupid rule. There's some rules that are just stupid. Some of the, that how the Mbappe goal in the Nations League stood because that defender touched the ball. Yes, by the rules, that's true, but the rule's just stupid. Same as if the goalie's this far in front of his line, that's a stupid rule. It doesn't make any difference to him saving it. But hey, for once at least it went our way rather than half the time where these weird rules go against us. So I'd bloody take it. But Clutch, anything you want to add to Mason Mount there? Because we can't really say enough good things about him today, really.
I mean, I completely agree with both of you. Coming from 2 seasons ago, I was never the biggest Mason Mount fan. Now he's my second favorite player. And I find myself defending him with every fan in this fan base, it seems. It's now you just see what he brings. And how many times today was the ball going the other direction and he come from the right side back to the defense to get the ball back? I watched him run down 4 people today to get the ball back and then take it back the other direction. I mean, the work that he does is it's not appreciated because it doesn't translate into numbers, goals, and assists. And today he added that, and now, I mean, you really can't say anything. I mean, a 10 doesn't even do him justice today, really.
To be honest, I see what you're saying. A lot of people in the chat have said give him an 11. Hey, we could do as well, but in a way, I almost think the 10 for an offensive player, for a goalie, give Mendy when we gave him the 100, for the joke because he was so outrageous that day. But a 10 also looks good when you hand out ratings. Looks better than someone said 10.5. That makes it look worse than just giving him the 10.
Yeah, bro. Can I make a point? Sorry.
Go on, of course.
I think if you watch the game today and you look at the Jorginho cover rating, the Chilwell rating, we could give Mount an 11, but the fact he's the only one there with the 10, I think that speaks volume because the 2 in the middle were fantastic. Chilwell was fantastic. Even Reece James was fantastic. CHO was really good. So the fact he's the only one with the 10, I think that speaks louder than words.
I completely agree. Thank you for that input, Con. Let's get to Ruben. I like I said, I thought slightly harsh that he didn't start, but obviously in the end, perfect with how great Kovacic was. So can't say nothing. But Ruben also came on and was very well. I say it was very good, but the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, not coming on and being the best player instantly like he usually did so far this season. But then, got involved, got himself an assist, just about stayed on side. Great run, by the way, on the ball, makes the run. I think feeds Barkley. Barkley feeds it back to him, stays on side, continues to run, cut back in the moment where the goalie can't stop the cutback anymore because he's already gone down. So, I mean, the man's already got 2 assists as well. I'm so pleased. I'm so happy. I know he only came on as a sub, but hey, at the start of the season, I didn't even think he would get any minutes other than when we play a League 2 side in the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that he's now one of the rotation players or sometimes starting, and Tuchel before the game saying, yeah, he probably deserved to start, but we just went for Jorginho Kovacic because obviously they've played many times together and there's no level of uncertainty with that. While had we gone Ruben and Jorginho, there would have been an uncertainty because we'd never seen that together. So I see it. So I saw that, although from my logic was just, well, we're probably not going to get many easier games than Norwich, and that turned out to be more than true. So why not try it here? Because if there's no better game to try something you're not sure about than against a lesser team, and there's not so many lesser teams will play this season than Norwich. There's not so many lesser teams that will play with our strongest team. Because obviously we'll play maybe a League One, a League Two, and the FA Cup, whatever. But when we do play them, we won't play our strongest team, so the difference decreases. But yeah, Ruben, obviously it's a sub appearance, but he was the first sub. It's always, I don't know, you always seem like a bigger importance in the squad if you be the first sub rather than say the third. Do you know what I mean? Like that's always a bit different. But yeah, Ruben, I don't know, give him, I don't know, 8.5 or 9, something like that probably. But you know, I mean, he was great. He was doing like helping out with the press, like Mason obviously was. But it's like it's 25 minutes. He got an assist. He did good, but obviously we were 5-0 up by the time he came on. And Norwich were down to 10 minutes, or were down to 10 men a minute later. So it's. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's difficult to really judge how high of a rating to give him, but he was very good, and I was very happy. That's all I can say. But Clutch, why don't I go with you? What rating would you give him? Do you have the same struggles as myself with giving him a rating?
You just made me have a struggle in my head. I was going to comfortably say 8.5, but then you were like talking about how they were down to 10 men and all that. Because another guy who comes on later, I think, also came on and looked really sharp. But I'd go 8.5. It's difficult though.
Yeah, I'm not too upset about that, to be honest. Ziyech was the guy that fed back to Ruben. Fair play in the build-up. Fair play. It wasn't Barkley. I just remember the yellow boots, but apparently they both have yellow boots. Fair dues then. Con, would you agree with Clutch on an 8.5, or would you like to go higher, maybe lower?
No, I think 8.5 is fair. I know they had a red card and like wheels up, but you have to judge him. Like he only can do what's in front of him, kind of thing, you know. Like he came on, he did this thing, you know. Like so who cares if it was well up and that was down to 10 men, you know. He still did the job, still got himself an assist, and you know, he still did a beautiful turn on a few players, which we love to see. I know you were smiling as soon as you see Loftus turning, and when he got that assist, he was like, yes, he's getting above an 8 today on the ratings. Let's go.
Come on. Exactly that. No, I was super pleased. I was super duper pleased. And I couldn't really be much happier, than honestly. Like everything's just coming up Millhouse here. And then we had a double substitution of Ross Barkley kind of coming as that false line, but not really being that high up the pitch. We kind of just played a front two of Mount and Ziyech in the end, and Barkley behind them, more like that in a way. But Barkley came on, and Hakim Ziyech came on, which obviously then meant Mount moved more to the left and Ziyech wasn't right. But yeah, I mean, I know Con said Barkley had a bad miss. For me, Barkley was once again surprisingly good, to be honest. Like he came on, took him about 20 seconds to have a decent shot that was like half a yard wide. And, you know, as an impact sub, I'll get to a question that someone said really early in the stream. I remembered it because it's a good question, and we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, and I'm sure that's who you were talking about, Clutch with Hakim Ziyech. Yeah, he did look sharp. I was a bit worried about his shoulder when him and the Norwich player just collided. I was like, ooh, I hope his shoulder's fine, because obviously we learned yesterday that he's still struggling with that a little bit. But oh my days, if his curler would have gone in, you know, we wouldn't have had to debate which was the best goal today, because that wasn't far wide. That would have been a screamer and a half, that was. But yeah, good performance on him, looking sharper than he has done recently. Again, obviously, like I just said for Ruben, we were 5-0 up. By that point, maybe even 6-0 up. I can't remember. And then we're down to 10 men and stuff. But still, you know, it's better to look sharp when it's a bit easier than to look bad when it's difficult, in my opinion. So, you know, it's definitely better for his confidence. Let's go with Hakim Ziyech first. Clutch, you were just touching on him there, I think. So, what did you think of Hakim?
Yeah, I think he came on and he did really well. I mean, he probably could have had 2 goals, to be fair. He very easily with the shots that he was getting away. And I didn't realize how good of like little touches he had to create 2 feet of space to shoot. I never realized that. And that is the Ziyech that we're going to need going forward, is that kind of hungry player. I want that Ziyech. I don't want the one that's lazy and not doing anything. And I'd give him an 8. I didn't think he was as good as Ruben, but I do think he was really sharp.
Fair dues. Hey, I'll go along with it. Why not? Why not? Con, what about you? Did you agree that he was as sharp, or would you not gone quite as high as an 8 maybe?
I love Ziyech as a player. I really do. I think 7.5, that's what I was thinking. That's what my head was. He did look sharp, but at times I was like, you could do a bit better, mate. Like, don't know.
Yeah, that one ball he tried to, I think it was Barkley. That's the kind of pass I've seen too many times from him for the last year, where I'm like, this is the kind of pass you're meant to be good at, but I haven't seen you complete it in like a year. I swear it feels like he hasn't completed that pop ball in a year, and he keeps trying it. So that's a bit frustrating. But yeah, 7.5, 8, I'd be happy with both in all honesty. So let's see what the chat said. CH 7.5. I saw mostly talking about Barkley because I did start talking about him first. I do apologize. But chat, put it in the chat what you would give Hakim Ziyech just to help us out between the 7.5 and an 8. If you go higher or lower than that, well, you're kind of unhelpful. So stick to a 7.5 or an 8, please. Livramento goal. Come on, who are they playing? Burnley. Well, that's less exciting now. But we move. Because I still, unless we turn Reece James into a centre back one day, Tino Livramento is still going to be like, well, I like both, but we can only play one unless we turn Reece James into a centre back and keep playing back five for the next 10 years. So, we're going to have to find some solution. I know Tino can play on the left as well, but that's like playing Hudson Odoi right wing back. Yes, he can do it, and he should be better than he has been, but he's not going to be as good as he's in the left wing, is he now? CH 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. Well, sorry, Clutch, the 7.5 won out, but, like I said, we weren't far off. On that note then, because I still think Barkley did all right, I would probably just give him a 7 then, even if that maybe looks a bit harsh on Havertz, but I still think Barkley got himself involved. I know Con said he missed that. To me, like I said, it's just a good save. I can't lie, to me, it's a good save. And I think giving anyone, even Barkley, anything under a 7 when we win 7-0 seems a bit harsh. Hence why I would go 7. Do we go along with that, boys? Let me go with you first, Con.
Suppose so. I suppose so.
Would you before I said that, what would you have given him?
I gave him 5. I don't like Barkley.
A 5? That's a bit hard.
I really don't like him, man. I don't like his attitude. I don't like him. I hate him in a Chelsea shirt. But I suppose 7 is fair. It is.
It's interesting because I agreed with you on the attitude thing a while back, but now that he's been so out of the team, but somehow managed to fight his way back in to fight and doesn't seem to even on his Insta post, he keeps posting. I know that's not the be all and end all of it, but still when he plays, tries to get involved, tries to do the best that he can. We know he's not exactly going to be, I don't know, as good as Mason Mount, as good as Kai Havertz, as good as Bruno Fernandes. We know he's not going to be that. But I feel like for his standards, whenever he's gotten a chance this season, he's done well. He's worked his socks off, tried to be in contention, looks fit. There's many players that when they know they're basically not in and around anymore, that won't be as fit as Barkley. So, and I know that's doesn't really have anything to do with how he played, but I just wanted to respond to that, to the attitude.
How bad must Saul be, though, if Ross Barkley's getting his chance?
Hold on for a second. That was the question I was going to get to after, before we get to the Tuchel thing. But hey, you would have said 5. What did you say? Or 5.5, whatever. Like I said, I would go 7. But hey, if you want to say 6 or 5.5 or 5, I will calculate it into a democratic rating in the end. So pick which one you would like to go for, Con, for your rating.
I'll go 7. Clearly people thought he was good today, so I'll go with a 7. I'll put my hatred to the side. I don't have an agenda against him. I can't.
It would be funny if Clutch now goes 4.
It'd be brilliant. Go on, Clutch. Come in, Clutch.
Go on, Clutch.
See, the thing is, I also have Barkley syndrome, where it's just like anytime he comes on, I'm just like, that's what we're doing. It scares me every time. And if you're gonna give Ziyech a 7.5, I guess the fair would be to give Barkley a 7. But I'm a lot like Con. I don't like Barkley at all. And whenever he does something well, it's I don't really want to give him credit for it, but I guess I have to, right? I mean, fair is fair. 7.
I love that you admitted that like that. Yeah, I don't really like when he does things.
Yeah, but Laurenz, bro, the reason I hate Barkley is not because of him. It's he had the potential to be something really decent, And he'd rather go on a night out.
Ruin it for him.
Yeah, he'd rather go on a night out, have a punch up, get blattered, and he's just a victim of his own success, man. And I look at him, I'm like, you could have been so much more. And that's why I don't like him, because he could have been so much more than he is today, man. Honestly.
I agree with that. But and maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he's kind of learned that lesson. It might be too late for his career to be a superstar anymore. But the way he's acted so far this season of being completely out of the picture, I think he's matured a little bit. Well, let's get to this question. And, I'll go straight to you, Con, to be honest. The fact that Ross Barkley, I mean, obviously the main reason was because he came on officially up front for Havertz, which obviously isn't at all Saul's position, which is the main thing. But even still, the fact that Ross Barkley, and to be honest, go back 2 months, or a month and a half, the fact that Ruben and Ross Barkley came on for Jorginho and for Havertz before Saul did, it's not a great sign. I can't lie. Like, we could have saved ourselves those wages in hindsight. I mean, maybe we'll get to a point this season where I'll change that again. But as of right now, we're like, I mean, I like the guy. I have no problem with Saul. But we probably could have saved ourselves these wages if we're playing Barkley over him at the moment. But it's not ideal, is it, Con? Because we were 5-0 up. Like, that's the game where you give Saul some important minutes and not bring Barkley on if you really wanted to Saul to improve and fit in more.
Sorry, my bad. I had to put my phone on charge. No, yeah, you're right. It's bad. It's bad. If you're not getting minutes versus a Norwich side of 10 men, and Ross Barkley is like, it's bad. I thought he was a good player, but then again, I think we just got a bit caught up with what Saul used to be, you know, and not what Saul is today. I think that's the problem we got caught up with, and you know, yeah, it's rough. It's rough. But can I just say, like, with Barkley, hatred aside, I guess it was not hatred, but whatever it is aside, I have for him
dislike.
Like he still has, when he's come on, he still looked decent. You know, it's justified being brought on, and Loftus-Cheek has been more than justified. He's looked fantastic. So maybe it's not as Sal being bad as it could be just Loftus being really good. You know, Barkley looking really good and impressing Tuchel. It could be more of that. We don't know, but yeah, we could have saved wages for sure by the looks of things right now.
Definitely. And I mean, someone said it there, Gallagher should play for us next season. Saul can't even start against 20th Norwich. And someone said it there, I doubt Saul will even play on Tuesday. If Saul doesn't play Tuesday, we might as well send him back in January, to be honest. But by the way, we can't, because the only reason Atletico could afford to get Griezmann back from Barcelona is because they offloaded Saul's wages, because the guy was on a 9-year contract at Atletico. And I'm not saying Saul is this wage monster. I don't know, like, what was that Dutch Dunny call that we had for God knows how long? Do you know who I mean, Con?
Van Ginkel?
No. Way longer. This Dutch guy that just refused to leave because just wanted to get the money. I keep forgetting his name. I spoke about this before. Regardless.
Oh, yeah. I remember who you was talking about. I have no idea who this brother is, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I even Googled it recently again. I forgot the name again. My brain says Bogard, but that's not. Is that a thing? Oh God, I feel like that's a player for somebody else. Regardless, no, not Van Ginkel. Not Van Ginkel. Why not? But anyway, still, it's not ideal for him. So I hope for him that he starts on Tuesday, but I wouldn't be too confident in it. Depending on Kante's fitness situation. By the way, Kante wasn't in the squad today. He's not injured as such, but he had a small muscle tightness. Had we played on Sunday, had we played tomorrow, he would have been in the squad, apparently, according to Simon Johnson. But he wasn't. So I doubt he'll probably play Tuesday and probably just be back next weekend. Winston Bogard, I did get it right. Big up myself. Come on. That's him. But yeah, I forgot my train of thought now. I just ask you, Clutch, first of all, obviously speak about this Saul Barkley situation. And then also, do you reckon he'll start Tuesday?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't understand the plan from the beginning with Saul, right? I mean, I guess it was the precaution of if Conte went down, but now we have.
Well, I did understand it until Ruben became a real midfield option, but I didn't think he was in Tuchel's mind.
Yeah, but what's the point if you're going to also sell or you're going to loan out Billy Gilmore?
What?
I said, what's the point if you're going to loan out Billy Gilmore if you want to get Saul? I mean, if you wanted another center mid, why don't you just keep Billy Gilmore? Why do you go?
No. We wanted to loan out Billy Gilmore to give him more minutes, and then we realized, now we don't have enough midfielders, so now we need to get Saul.
Right. I mean, that was just the solution to a problem we created in the first place.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, no one could have seen. I guess you could have seen a Ruben resurgence, and
even I couldn't have seen this coming. I can't lie, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean. It's just I never thought he would be a player that we would keep or anything like that. I always thought, like, if you're gonna do something, go get a holding mid or go get a center back. But I mean, it's all in hindsight. He probably won't start against Southampton. Southampton. He probably won't start. I mean, you're probably gonna get Ruben and Conte, but I'm all for it. So.
Yeah, if Kante's fit, I feel like there's a small chance of Ruben and Saul, but I don't think that would work well at all.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Con, do you reckon? Sorry, Con.
I think Cotton had it spot on when he said that we get caught up on the player that Saul used to be. So I don't know.
Maybe
I guess if anybody's gonna create or bring back a player, it's gonna be Tuchel, right?
It is. Con, do you think Saul starts Tuesday?
He kind of has to, really, don't he? To justify over 100k a week, he has to be.
Yeah.
I think he does. If he does it, then he's dusted at Chelsea. He's honestly dusted. In my mind, he just has to. Like, I don't even want to think if he deserves to or whatever. He just has to start.
Yeah. I hear what you mean. It's weird because if you think about it, had Billy stayed, Ruben wouldn't have had a remontada because then it would have just been Billy that was used, not Ruben. But it also would have been better for Billy. So in a way, because I love Ruben so much, I'm happy about it. But obviously, it seems so far it's not been the greatest of loans. But again, it's not Ethan Ampadu at Leipzig yet. So there's still all the hope in the world. And I mean, whatever Daniel Farke tried to do today, that didn't quite work. I mean, Billy obviously wasn't eligible anyway. But I don't think playing without your technically most gifted player is the smartest idea. And I think he's by far the technically most gifted player. Let's quickly, to round it out, let's get to a rating for the big man, Tommy Tuchel. I don't know. I just like to put him with Silver because why not? So let's go with Silver. I don't think that's much of a debate of a 10 today. I mean, I know I said I thought it was a bit harsh for Ruben not to start, but, we're rating this in hindsight after the game. And Kovacic was so brilliant that it was brilliant from Thomas Tuchel. And he brought Ruben on and Ruben got an assist and played well. And the only thing maybe I didn't see the necessary need for, did Callum have to come off? But at the same time, Callum isn't used to playing a lot anymore, and Callum will probably play quite a lot of games in the next few weeks. So with that logic, maybe don't overplay him. I see it, but you could see on his face he would have liked to play the full 90, but that's not going to be a deduction on Tuchel. I'm just talking about basically the subs. But yeah, Tuchel gets a 10 today. We win 7-0. And he made 5 changes from the last game, and half of them scored a goal. So you can't exactly even debate it. In all honesty, can you? I mean, Con, let me go with you first, but I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, easy 10 today. I think it's one of the easiest ratings you'll give to goals. 7-0 win. Yeah. Where did Chelsea get? When's the last time Chelsea had a 7-0 win? Does anyone know? I can't think. 7 or more goals.
Didn't they say 5 years or something like that?
So it just goes to show you.
Last time I can remember was when we beat Villa at home and Torres scored.
Oh, yeah.
But we beat them 8-0 that day. I don't know if we had a 7-0 since then or a 7 anything.
Yeah. So for me, it's
especially not in the Premier League, that's for sure.
And can I just say, Christensen started against Malmo, right? Chalobah comes in and he looks just as good. When we rotate players as well, for the most part, sometimes it don't quite work, but for the most part, it looks good. And the subs were right. Loftus comes on, gets an assist. CH come on. He looked lively. Cho got the start he deserved. I'm happy he played Cho because I thought he would start CH over Cho today. He didn't. It worked out. So, yeah, easy 10.
Easy 10. I mean, yeah, Adash, you're not wrong. I do often put them with the man of the match. But that depends on kind of how clustered this image is of where, how the subs add up an extra thing. And I feel like that would have been too clustered. So I want to give Tuchel his extra thing down here. That was my logic. Doesn't always have to make sense to everybody, but that was how my brain worked it out, where I'm going to put the Tuchel rating now. Clutch, I presume you obviously go along with the 10, but anything you want to add about Tuchel today? Because we can only find positive words today, can't we?
I mean, he had everything right. And even in that second half when we came out, we looked like we didn't really want to play. I mean, he immediately corrected that and we started pressing the rest of the game. I mean, it takes a special manager to go out there and I shouldn't say force, but encourage 90 minutes of just all out destruction against a team. Even it's very easy to give up after 4-0. Hey, we won this game. Let's just tear down the Jets. But they were pressing from minute 1 to minute 92 or whatever we went to. So I mean, that's all on Tuchel. That's his culture. That's his way. And this is with not even a full strength squad. You still got Rom. You still got Timo and Pulisic all to come back. So I mean, if he can do this when we were a couple days worried about not having Timo or Rom, and now we have this. I mean, I guess it's against Norwich, and that's fine. But I mean, the
still,
games that,
even if it is just Norwich, right, and even if that's part of the reason, it's still a positive for the confidence for when we play better teams than Norwich.
and I mean, even for like when these guys are out, for however long these guys are out, we're not going to be playing too many teams that are worse or better than Norwich. They're not too much better. I mean, you got Burnley and then you got Newcastle. Both teams that are slightly better, but not marginally better. Not like a
Let's
Liverpool.
see if Newcastle have a new manager by then.
Right? Oh, I mean, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I'll just leave it with a 10.
Lampard is apparently not in contention, bro. It's fine. It's fine. But I just quickly, because I remembered it. Did you guys see this, whether it's on Twitter or on the pitch? After Mason missed the initial penalty and then obviously it had to be retaken, Barkley was like going up to Mason, kind of like trying to take it. And then like Reece is like, no, mate, go away. That was quite funny. And like patted Mason on the back, you got this. But I'm not saying this is a negative to Barkley. I kind of like the fact that he knows he's not really he's part of the squad, but he's not, he barely gets minutes. But the fact that he has the confidence to just like, Mason, I know you just missed, but can I go, well, can I just take the pen one? Because you just missed it. It's kind of shit from you. So I think that's funny.
Bro, he lost all penalty sort of thing after Valencia, mate. You're never having another one again, lad.
It's true. I've even forgot about that again, but I just found it funny. And again, like it didn't cause any trouble. Like, he accepted the no, but just the fact that he asked, I think is quite funny. So fair play. Fair play. But I think we're going to round it out here on a couple of positive notes. What more positive can there be than winning 7-0? That's brilliant. One other positive thing is Man United and Liverpool will take points of each other. I mean, Man United are kind of so far behind at this point, it doesn't really matter. So it would be good if they could get a draw out of Liverpool or beat Liverpool. That'd be fun. As much as, the Ronaldo fanboys will obviously lose their shit again. So did I say this on this stream that Ben Chilwell now has as many goals as Cristiano Ronaldo in less appearances? Big fan of this, by the way. But yeah, 7-0, top of the league. Life's great. I'm a big fan. And we still have half a Saturday to go. Like, things are brilliant. Con, Clutch, anything else you want to add? Let me go with you first, Clutch. Anything you want to add on this fine Saturday, well, for you, midday?
It's just about to turn noon here in about an hour, so I guess it's about lunchtime for me or nap time. I don't know. So it was a good day. I'm glad. It was a good day.
Exactly. There you go. Con, what about you? I know. I'm not sure how much you want to speak about it, but I hope everything went well with where you went earlier.
Yeah, no, everything was well. False alarm.
False alarm. Okay.
Yeah, so I managed to come back on time, and just to bring a point back to Tuchel again. Liverpool were a full strength side with Salah, Mane, Jota, whatever, Firmino against Norwich, only beating 3-0. We was without Lukaku and Werner today, and
I still believe we would have beat Liverpool if that penalty doesn't happen.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, these Liverpool fans always saying, oh, Tuchel balls, defensive and all that. Shut up. All right, just shut up. Because we put 7 past teams that you only put 3 past with your full attack. So, no, good life. I'm happy. Early kickoff went well for a change. How often do we say that? Early kickoff.
The home games are usually okay, I feel like. With the away ones are the struggle.
Yeah.
But great day.
But I'm going to go enjoy my day. Thanks for having me again, Laurenz. Always a pleasure, my man. And yeah. Top of the league, baby. We love it.
Top of the league, baby. But let me just read through. Obviously, people have games in hand, but just look at it. We have now scored 23 goals. To be fair, Liverpool have scored 22 and they have a game in hand. So there's a good chance they at least equal or overtake us. But still, we scored 23 goals in 29 games. And we've conceded 3 goals. After 9 games, we have a goal difference of 20. That's mental.
Bear in mind, Liverpool, City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Brentford, they're not easy games.
Not by any means.
Yeah, exactly. Have Liverpool even beat someone in the top half yet? I don't know.
Let me check. They beat... No. So far this season, they've beat Norwich, they've beat Burnley, they've beat Leeds, they've beat Palace, they've beat Norwich in the Cup. They drew against Brentford, they drew against City, and they beat Watford. So, no, they haven't. So, Liverpool get in the bin. Sky Sports get in the bin because all you want to do is suck up Liverpool. But, hey, have fun doing that. We're going to go win the league instead. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in so far, earlier, whatever. Even if you're watching this at a later point, once this has turned into a video, and you've gotten to this point, an hour and 26 in, you're an absolute legend. You're probably subscribed then. But anyway, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, whether you're watching this right now or later on. Smash the like button for me. It's always massively appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards. We move. Let me just find this little image here so I can get this up on screen. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we'll see you next time.